The Galactic Council's Hall of Accord had witnessed countless diplomatic ceremonies over its 3,000-year existence, but none quite like this. Representatives from 47 species filled the tiered amphitheater, their varied forms creating a tapestry of colors, textures, and biochemistries. At the center stood General Carvax of the Vryn Dominion, his 4 arms crossed in a display of barely contained fury, his crest flaring crimson with indignation. "This is an outrage." His voice boomed through the translation matrices embedded in every delegate's neural interface. "The humans send a commander to negotiate terms of alliance? Where is your fleet admiral? Your supreme military authority?" The human delegation stood in formation near the entrance, 10 soldiers in dark gray uniforms that seemed to absorb light. They showed no reaction to the general's words, their faces masks of professional composure. But every species in that hall could sense the tension crackling through the air like static before a storm. Commander Rhea Solon stood at the front, her hands clasped behind her back. She was unremarkable by human standards, average height, dark hair pulled into a regulation bun. No distinguishing scars or augmentations, yet something about her presence made the Vryn general's translator falter, as if language itself struggled to capture what she represented. "General Carvax," she said, her voice quiet but carrying effortlessly across the vast chamber. "I am the ranking officer present. Shall we proceed?" The general's crest darkened to near purple. "Ranking? You wear the insignia of a commander. In our military structure, that is barely above a squad leader. The Vryn Dominion has sent me a general of the 3rd Fleet. Commander of 17 battle groups, and humanity responds with, 'You?' Murmurs rippled through the assembled delegates. The Thranaki ambassador's tentacles writhed with discomfort. The crystalline solarii dimmed their internal luminescence in what might have been second-hand embarrassment. Even the normally stoic Krell shifted uneasily in their exoskeletons. Rhea's expression didn't change. "I am sufficient for this negotiation." "Sufficient?" Carvax took 3 thundering steps forward, his massive form dwarfing the human commander. "You insult the Dominion. You insult me. Send someone with actual authority, or this alliance dies before it begins." The hall fell silent. Alliances between species were delicate things, built on precise protocols of respect and hierarchy. For humanity, still newcomers to galactic politics, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 30 years prior to breach, such protocols seemed like catastrophic incompetence or calculated insult. Neither boded well. Then, from within the human formation, came a small sound. A whisper. Really. Barely audible. Yet in that charged silence, it carried. "She's Alpha." Every head turned. Every sensory organ focused. The speaker was Tivik, a young Vryn cub, barely into his 2nd molt, part of the general's entourage as an honor student of military protocol. His small form trembled as thousands of eyes found him. General Carvax rounded on him instantly. "Silence. Whelp. You speak out of turn in the hall of..." "She's Alpha," Tivik repeated, louder now, his voice cracking with the earnestness of youth. His translator provided the Vryn word, but the human delegation heard it in their own language too, carried through their neural links. Alpha, the first, the foremost, the leader beyond rank. The general's crest flared white with shock. "What did you say?" The cub's claws clicked nervously against the stone floor, but he stood his ground. I studied them, sir. For my thesis. The humans. Their pack structures." He turned to address the hall, his academic training overriding his fear. "They don't organize like we do. Not by rank alone. They have something else." "Explain," commanded the Krell ambassador, their translator rattling with curiosity. Tivik's words came faster now, tumbling over each other. "In human military history, there are soldiers who transcend their official positions. Those who've seen certain battles, endured specific trials. They develop what humans call command presence. Not authority granted by promotion, but authority earned through survival, through leading others through hell." He gestured toward Commander Solon with one trembling claw. She was at Proxima Station. The silence deepened. Even species unfamiliar with human conflicts knew that name. Proxima Station, where humanity's third expeditionary fleet had faced the Scalrix hive, where 15,000 humans had held the line against 500,000 bio-horrors for 72 hours. Where only 3,000 survived. She was senior officer after the first hour, Tivik continued. Just a lieutenant then. Held command while the station's hull breached around her. Coordinated evacuation and defense with sections of the station completely cut off. She transmitted orders while fighting in hand-to-hand combat when the Scalrix broke through to the command center. Rhea Solan's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. That was the only sign she gave. The human soldiers don't follow her because of her rank, the cub said softly. They follow her because she's Alpha. The one who survives. The one who brings others through. In human packs. In their ancient history. The Alpha isn't chosen by a council. The Alpha is the one the pack trusts, with their lives. General Karvax stared at the small human commander with new eyes. Around the hall, delegates checked their databases, pulling up battle reports from Proxima Station. Video feeds showed a young lieutenant, her uniform shredded and burned, dragging wounded soldiers through corridors filled with Scalrix corpses. Showed her standing in a breached airlock, firing a salvaged plasma rifle with one hand while sealing her helmet with the other. Showed her coordinating 17 separate defensive positions simultaneously while her own position was being overrun. The general's crest slowly shifted from white to a deep, respectful gold. You are a survivor of Proxima Station. Yes, Rhea said simply. And you still serve as a commander? Not an admiral? Not a general? I prefer field command. Karvax processed this. In Vrin culture, survivors of legendary battles were given the highest honors, the safest positions. To continue serving on the front lines, to choose it, spoke of something his people understood intimately. A warrior's heart. He placed all four hands over his chest in the Vrin gesture of profound respect. Forgive my ignorance, Alpha. I did not understand your people's ways. Rhea inclined her head slightly. No offense was taken, General. Shall we discuss the alliance? As the two military leaders moved toward the negotiation table, Tivik found himself suddenly lifted by one of Rhea's sergeants, a massive human who grinned down at the small cub. Good instincts, kid. You'll make a fine officer someday. The cub's crest flushed with pride as the human set him down gently. The hall remained silent, but it was a different kind of silence now. Not tension, but understanding. Humanity had sent exactly the right person. Not the highest rank, but the truest authority. The Alpha had come to treat with the pack.